chosen ones. Take a deep breath and reflect that vivid number 1. 010 on the thumbnail grabbed your attention, didn't it? It's not just a fleeting detail or a mere coincidence. It's a sacred marker that called you to this very message in the Bible. The number 10 symbolizes divine order, perfection, and God's sovereign authority, seen in the 10 Commandments, which guide our moral path, or the 10 plagues of Egypt, which demonstrated God's unmatched power. When doubled as 101, it carries an amplified spiritual weight, signaling a moment of divine alignment, a breakthrough where God's perfect timing intersects with your life's purpose. You didn't land here because of an algorithm's whim or random chance. No, your presence in this moment is a divine appointment, meticulously orchestrated by God to speak directly to your spirit. This message isn't for everyone. Only those chosen by God, whose hearts are tuned to the whisper of the Holy Spirit, will feel its resonance. If you sense that quiet nudge in your soul saying, "This is for me," lean into it. It's a holy invitation. In the comments below, share where you're watching from, your city, your country, or wherever your faith has brought you, and type 1010 to declare your alignment with God's divine timing. If this message stirs your heart, consider giving a super thanks as a seed of faith and gratitude. What you offer today in trust, God will multiply back to you tenfold in His boundless love and provision. Let's step into this sacred moment together, ready to receive the divine truth awaiting you. Chosen one, a divine wave is rising, not just a moment, not just a shift, but a cosmic recalibration sent by the hand of God Himself. A spiritual force, invisible yet unstoppable, is preparing to sweep across the earth. Can you feel the pressure building in your spirit? This isn't imagination. This is the final warning before the storm of transformation. And those who are unprepared, those who laughed it off or scrolled past, will soon find themselves overwhelmed by what they didn't believe was real. This is not a time for hesitation. God is sounding the alarm in your soul because you are not ordinary. You are chosen. This awakening isn't random. It is precise, calculated, and divinely timed. And you, chosen one, are being called to position yourself for what is about to happen. But are you spiritually armored for the coming flood? Are your roots planted deep enough to withstand what's on the horizon? Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 3 states, "But the Lord is faithful. He will establish you and guard you against the evil one." Think of Noah. While others mocked the idea of rain, Noah obeyed God's warning and built an ark. He was ridiculed until the rain came. Then he became the only one who was ready. What if your obedience right now is the ark that will carry you through the flood? What if your preparation is the very thing that separates survival from destiny, just like Noah? There are modern-day examples of divine preparation and favor. Take Oprah Winfrey, a woman who faced deep trauma and hardship, but never abandoned her spiritual roots. She consistently speaks about divine timing and the inner preparation that came long before her outer success. Her story is one of radical reset from pain to power, from despair to global influence. What does that tell you about the importance of inner alignment before breakthrough? You're now being positioned at the edge of the spiritual ocean, where a mighty wave is about to crash. The choice before you is clear. Will you ride the wave or be buried beneath it? Will you allow God's reset to elevate you, or will you resist and be caught off guard? This shift will not look like what the world expects. It's not political, it's not cultural, it's spiritual, and it will expose everything that's not aligned with truth. But you, chosen one, are being equipped to not just survive it, but to lead others through it. This is a divine assignment. But have you fully surrendered to your preparation? Ephesians chapter 6 verse 11 commands, "Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." Look at Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for decades. Yet his time in isolation became his preparation. The world saw captivity, but God saw consecration. When the time came, Mandela wasn't just released, he was raised. What if the delays and confinements in your life have not been punishment, but preparation for leadership in the new world that is coming? Spiritual protection isn't simply about avoiding danger. It's about choosing divine alignment over worldly distraction. It's about allowing the Holy Spirit to guard your emotions, your thoughts, your discernment. The enemy is cunning. He won't come at you with fire. He'll come with distraction, doubt, delay. That's why God is calling you now to prepare before it's too late. Proverbs chapter 27 verse 12 warns, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Chosen one. Don't think the signs around you are coincidence. The rising unrest, the strange sense that something massive is coming. These are spiritual contractions. The world is groaning, and you, chosen one, are being awakened not to panic, but to lead. Look at Malala Yousafzai, targeted by extremists at a young age, but chosen by God to speak truth to the world. Even after facing death, her voice only grew louder. Why? Because her purpose was sealed in heaven long before man tried to silence her. Likewise, what has tried to silence you lately? Could it be the very indicator that your voice carries weight in this next season? When you feel that pull to retreat and recalibrate, listen to it. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. The divine reset will not wait for you to be ready. It will arrive with or without your consent. But only the prepared will rise with it. Only the faithful will understand what is happening, while others crumble in confusion. And you were chosen to know. You were chosen to lead. Matthew chapter 24 verse 42 admonishes, "Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come." Think of Steve Jobs, who spoke often about intuition and spiritual insight guiding his biggest decisions, even retreating to silence and simplicity before launching the world-changing innovations we now live with. His path was less about noise, more about inner clarity. You too must retreat from the noise of this world if you want to clearly hear God's next instructions for you. So what is God whispering to you in this moment? What doors is He urging you to close before this shift arrives? What preparation has He already begun in you that you've been ignoring or postponing? Because here's the truth. The reset will not stop for anyone. It is coming with divine force. And only those who have been spiritually rooted will be able to withstand it. You've been chosen not for your perfection, but for your obedience. Not for your image, but for your alignment. The moment of reckoning is near. This is your final preparation window. What you do now determines what you'll become after the shift. While the world clings to comfort, you are called into consecration. While others panic, you will stand in power if you prepare. Chosen one, hear this truth with your spirit. To be chosen by God does not mean your path will be easy. In fact, it often means your trials will be heavier, your storms more intense, and your tests more frequent. Want because those who are set apart carry the responsibility of divine transformation, not just for themselves, but for others as well. Have you ever wondered why your life seems harder than most, even though you seek only good? Why challenges seem to find you again and again, despite your prayers and faithfulness? It's because you are not ordinary. You are marked for more. God allows the fire not to destroy you, but to refine you. The divine reset that is approaching will not exclude you, but it will exalt you if you are willing to stand firm, endure, and emerge stronger on the other side. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 12 advises, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you." Take J.K. Rowling, for example. Before becoming a household name, she faced deep poverty, rejection from multiple publishers, and single motherhood. But in her darkest hour, she clung to belief in her purpose, belief in the unseen. What if the pressure you're under isn't a punishment, but preparation for your breakthrough? What if the battle you're facing now is the spiritual labor before the birth of your divine assignment? This divine reset is not an ending, it is a clearing. God is sweeping through the earth with spiritual force, purging what no longer serves, dismantling systems of deception, and revealing truth in its purest form. And you, chosen one, are part of this global recalibration. You are not just surviving these shifts, you are meant to interpret them, embody them, and help others navigate them. John chapter 15 verse 2 explains, "Every branch that bears fruit, He prunes that it may bear more fruit." What makes you different is not your appearance or even your accomplishments. What sets you apart is your spiritual sight, your ability to discern what others overlook. While many focus on survival, you are called to transcend, to not just make it through, but to ascend into spiritual awareness, into divine clarity, and into your rightful role as a guide for this generation. Think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He wasn't just a leader, he was a vessel of moral awakening. He saw beyond laws and into the soul of a nation, even when imprisoned or threatened. His spiritual clarity never dimmed. Like him, you may feel alone in your convictions, misunderstood in your calling, but know this, Your alignment with truth is what gives you authority in this shift. This coming transformation is not simply a global shift. It's a spiritual cleansing. Do you feel the buildup of pressure in the atmosphere? Have you sensed the sudden unease in the hearts of people around you? That's not coincidence. It's the stirrings of a divine disruption meant to shake off the dust, the confusion, the collective spiritual fog that has blinded millions. But every cleansing storm has a purpose. Just as the earth uses a storm to renew the land, God uses spiritual storms to strip away the false so the authentic can rise. And you, chosen one, are not called to fear the wind. You are called to walk on it. You are not the debris being tossed. You are the lighthouse that others will look to as the skies darken. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 19 proclaims, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Consider Elon Musk, not for his fame, but for how he repeatedly disrupted what was thought impossible: electric cars, reusable rockets, digital currency. Each move went against the grain. But disruption is a spiritual principle too. God often disrupts comfort to bring forth purpose. Could it be that the disruptions in your life are not setbacks, but signs? What is God trying to clear out of your path so He can install something greater? This wave that is coming, this spiritual force, will touch all people. But for those who are chosen, it will hit differently. Others may panic, but you will perceive. Others will resist, but you will recognize. For you, it won't just be about change. It will be about elevation. Yes, it will test you. It will bring up buried fears and unhealed wounds, but it will also shape you, polish you, and set your spirit ablaze. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 10 assures, "Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken." Look at Rosa Parks. Her one act of stillness shifted a nation. It wasn't her strength, her wealth, or her fame. It was her divine positioning. Like her, you don't need to do something loud to change the world. Sometimes the shift you cause comes from the stillness in your spirit and the clarity of your soul. What simple act is God calling you to take right now that could trigger a ripple far beyond what you see, chosen one? You must ride this wave, but not as a victim of circumstance, as a surfer of prophecy. The wave may roar, but you are grounded in faith. The winds may howl, but you are centered in divine purpose. You are not alone. You were never meant to face this wave without direction. God is your compass, your anchor, your lifeboat, and your strength. And when it gets intense, when the pressure increases and your old beliefs begin to crumble, remember this: God doesn't break you to hurt you. He breaks what binds you. Chosen one, everything you've endured has led to this: the pain, the isolation, the strange coincidences that disrupted your plans. They were never random. They were preparation. You have been spiritually trained for a moment like this, and now that moment is here. This divine wave that is moving across the earth is not here to crush you. It's here to elevate you. But elevation requires faith. It requires that you recognize what's happening and that you trust that God has already built you strong enough to stand in it. Have you ever wondered why you couldn't walk away from your faith, even when things made no sense? Why you kept getting pulled back into spiritual alignment, no matter how far you drifted? That's not weakness. That's spiritual selection. You were chosen before the foundation of the world to stand in this very hour. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9 declares, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Look at Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery with no formal training, no worldly advantage, yet she became the conductor of freedom because she obeyed a spiritual voice others couldn't hear. When the divine shift came in her life, she didn't back down. She rose up. She moved in secrecy, strength, and faith, and she carried others with her. This is your Harriet moment, chosen one. You've been prepared not just to survive this wave, but to ride it, to lead in it, to be the light others follow when their world begins to shake. But here's what few understand: spiritual power requires spiritual protection. The energy God is about to release can't be handled casually. It's like standing in front of a waterfall, beautiful, mighty, but potentially overwhelming if you're not grounded. Are you ready to receive the surge without being swept away? Is your spirit anchored? Or are you still open to the distractions that dilute your discernment? Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23 instructs, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. You see, chosen one, this isn't about building walls. It's about building foundations." Protection doesn't mean hiding from the world. It means being so spiritually aligned that nothing the world throws at you can shake your clarity. Prayer is your power line. Meditation is your grounding cord. Obedience is your shield. Just as Simone Biles stepped back from the Olympic spotlight, not in weakness, but in wisdom, you too must discern when to rest, when to speak, and when to move in the Spirit. Her decision was mocked at first, but in time it was honored. Why? Because she valued her foundation more than the world's applause. Likewise, don't be afraid to pause when God tells you to. That stillness is not a setback, it's sacred strategy. The world is polluted with energy that clouds the soul: fear, bitterness, envy, spiritual fog. But you have been given sight beyond the surface. The divine reset is like a thunderstorm that purifies the air. It's not here to harm. It's here to clear the path for the Spirit to move freely. Psalm chapter 51 verse 10 pleads, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." Think of a deep spring cleaning. You don't just tidy up, you dig deep, dust off the hidden corners, and throw out what no longer serves you. That's what God is doing with your soul. He's not just rearranging furniture, He's rebuilding the house. The bitterness you thought you buried, the self-doubt you tolerated, the pain you never grieved, He's bringing it to the surface, not to hurt you, but to heal you. Chosen one, you may feel the discomfort rising, the unease, the strange emotions surfacing, but don't panic, don't retreat. These are not signs of failure, they're signs of healing. They are the soul's way of detoxing from decades of spiritual noise. You are being emptied so you can be filled. Just as Michael Jordan once described using failure as fuel, returning stronger after every setback, you too must see these uncomfortable spiritual stretches not as evidence that you're doing something wrong, but as confirmation that you're growing into something greater. What if your pain is the portal to your power? Joel chapter 2 verse 25 promises, "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." Chosen one, this is not a passive reset. It's not something that just happens while you sit and wait. God is calling you into partnership. This is a co-creation moment. You must choose to align, to walk boldly into what He's doing. This is your time to act, not react, to step forward, not shrink back. When God says move, don't wait for perfect conditions. Obedience is your activation. Surrender is your strategy. Alignment is your access point. When you start flowing with God instead of resisting Him, doors open that no man can shut. Consider Greta Thunberg, a young voice who shook global systems. She didn't wait to be old enough or qualified. She aligned with conviction, and her fire became contagious. Like Greta, you may feel small, but when your spirit is aligned with divine purpose, your voice carries heaven's authority. So let me ask you again, what's stopping you from rising? What limiting belief still has power over you? Why hesitate when you've already been chosen? This moment isn't coming. It's here. And the power that is being released will either crush those who resist or carry those who are ready. You were never meant to drown in this wave. You were destined to lead through it. If you stay aligned with God, if you protect your spirit, guard your heart, and walk in truth, you'll find that everything begins to make sense. Clarity will flood your mind, strength will return to your body, and peace will guard your soul like never before. Chosen one, the entire world will feel the tremor of this divine shift. But not everyone will respond the same. Why? Because though the wave is global, the response is personal. While others panic or search for answers, you will understand the signs. You've been quietly prepared in secret for a moment that will soon unfold in public. This is not coincidence. This is divine alignment. What have you been sensing in your spirit lately? A subtle pulling away from the noise, a desire for silence, reflection, and prayer. That's not random. That's the Spirit tuning you to God's frequency. And now you're about to see why. Psalm chapter 25 verse 14 reveals, "The Lord confides in those who fear Him. He makes His covenant known to them." Look at Florence Nightingale, the mother of modern nursing. She wasn't just tending wounds. She was carrying divine compassion into chaos. Her quiet dedication in the background led to a public revolution in healthcare. The chosen often walk an invisible path until the moment they are revealed for their purpose. You, chosen one, are about to step into your own unveiling. For those walking in faith, this divine shift will feel like activation. You'll sense a spiritual unlocking, your gift sharpened, your purpose clarified, your boldness restored. The veil between you and divine instruction will become thinner. Conversations with God will become clearer. But what about those who haven't been walking in alignment? What happens when the shift reaches those unprepared? They'll feel it too. But it may come with confusion, disorientation, or emotional heaviness. That's not punishment. It's spiritual contrast. The same wave that lifts a surfer will flatten a structure with no foundation. Are you spiritually fortified to ride this wave, or are you just hoping to survive it? Isaiah chapter 33 verse 6 affirms, "He will be the sure foundation for your times, a rich store of salvation and wisdom and knowledge." Think of Chadwick Boseman. The world knew him as a powerful actor, but behind the scenes, he was battling terminal illness privately, prayerfully, gracefully. His purpose never faltered. He filmed physically demanding roles while spiritually anchored. What about you? Are you prepared to fulfill your calling even when no one knows the depth of your battle? The line between the prepared and the unprepared is not about superiority. It's about positioning. God doesn't show favoritism. He honors faithfulness. This difference isn't permanent, but it is revealing. It shows who has chosen intimacy with God and who has chosen distance. Chosen one. What have you chosen lately? Comfort, or calling James chapter 4 verse 8 invites, "Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you." Those who have nurtured their spiritual life will see this shift as an invitation, not a threat. They'll move with clarity while others stumble in confusion. This is not to boast, but to build. Because those who rise will be asked to help others navigate what they can't yet understand. That's part of your calling. Not just to ascend, but to lift others along the way. Think of Desmond Doss, the army medic who refused to carry a weapon, mocked by others, misunderstood, but steadfast in his faith. He ended up saving 75 men in a single night during World War II. His spiritual clarity allowed him to do what logic said was impossible. Your clarity in this moment may also defy logic, but it will save lives. This isn't about exclusion. The door is still open. Anyone, yes anyone, can step into alignment with God and become one of the chosen. But timing matters. Opportunity doesn't wait forever. The chosen ones are not randomly selected. They're spiritually positioned. They have been praying when others were playing, listening when others were laughing, building their inner strength when the world was too loud to hear the call. Matthew chapter 22 verse 14 confirms, "Many are called, but few are chosen." Even Tyler Perry, once homeless and rejected, kept creating plays no one would come to see. But he stayed obedient to the inner prompting that told him to keep going. And when the shift came, he didn't just walk into success, he brought others with him. Now, entire communities are employed and inspired by the legacy of his obedience. Could it be that your preparation today is meant to create a platform for generations tomorrow? Let me ask you, are you being faithful in obscurity? Are you building when no one's watching? Are you listening when the noise of life tells you to scroll, distract, and delay? Chosen one. The transformation is not about hierarchy, it's about hunger. God responds to hearts that pursue Him. If you've already been walking this path, then this moment will be a breakthrough. If you're just now waking up to it, that's okay. The key is to respond now. This wave does not judge, it reveals. It reveals who's ready and who's resistant. And you, chosen one, were never meant to ride the fence. You were meant to lead the charge. Chosen one, when the divine shift begins, it will be unmistakable. This is not something that will merely stir in your heart or whisper in your thoughts. No, this will be a visible and undeniable move of God, one that marks the sky, the earth, and your soul all at once. Can you sense it already in the atmosphere? Can you feel the change approaching like a coming storm that doesn't frighten but awakens? God has promised signs, not vague or subtle, but bold and clear. These won't be mere coincidences or random happenings. They will be holy confirmations. Imagine looking into the heavens and seeing a glow that no man-made light could produce, or hearing a sound in your spirit that causes your soul to tremble, not in fear, but in reverence. Acts chapter 2 verse 19 proclaims, "I will show wonders in the heavens above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and billows of smoke." Just as Joan of Arc heard divine voices that guided her through war and destiny, you too will hear the unmistakable voice of the divine when the moment arrives. While others explain it away, you will recognize it immediately. It won't just resonate in your ears, it will reverberate through your entire being. Everything will start to feel different. The energy in your home, the nature of your relationships, even the rhythm of your thoughts will shift. Your inner compass will begin pointing more precisely toward your divine assignment. Conversations will change, priorities will rearrange, and those who are not aligned with your destiny may quietly fall away. Have you noticed it already? Some people distancing themselves without explanation. Some doors closing without effort. That's not loss, that's alignment. God is removing what can't go where you're headed. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 2 declares, "See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and His glory appears over you." Consider Nikola Tesla, who operated in solitude but downloaded brilliant ideas seemingly from beyond this world. He often spoke of frequencies and vibrations, as if he were in tune with something deeper. He once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He was on to something. And you, chosen one, are being called to attune your spirit to the divine frequency of this shift. The divine reset will be global, but for you, it will feel personal. Others may panic as the world groans with change, but you will feel peace. Why? Because you will know deep in your spirit that this is what you've been prepared for. The fog will lift. What once confused you will suddenly make sense. What once felt delayed will now feel divinely timed. John chapter 14 verse 27 assures, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Look at Anne Frank. Even in hiding, even surrounded by destruction, she wrote with hope, clarity, and an inner peace that defied her external chaos. She said, "How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world." Her clarity didn't come from circumstance, it came from spirit. Likewise, in this shift, your peace will not come from the news or your environment. It will come from your connection to God. So nay, will you recognize the signs when they appear? Will you embrace the strange beauty in the sky, the trembling in your spirit, the people who start fading from your life with no warning? Or will you resist, clinging to what's familiar even as God calls you forward? This is your warning and your invitation. Be like the 5 wise virgins from Jesus' parable. When the divine moment came, they had oil in their lamps. They were ready, not rushing, not scrambling. Their preparation gave them access. Matthew chapter 25 verse 13 warns, "Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." Think of Barack Obama, who spent years in preparation before stepping into the global spotlight. His rise wasn't sudden. It was the result of readiness meeting timing. And when destiny called, he didn't hesitate. He stepped in. So too with you. Your moment may arrive suddenly, but your preparation will determine whether you ascend or hesitate. Staying ready means keeping your spiritual oil full daily prayer, disciplined meditation, purity in thought, intentional relationships, and continual alignment with God's will. It means saying yes to the small promptings of the Spirit, because they are preparing you for the sudden release. And yes, distractions will come. In a time of divine change, the enemy sends confusion, temptation, and false urgency, but you must stay grounded. Protect your mind, your energy, your peace. This is not the time to follow every trend, opinion, or fear. Or your eyes must remain on the one who commands the storm, chosen one. While the divine reset is for all, the experience of it will be vastly different depending on your spiritual preparation. For those who have ignored the whispers of God, delayed the call to alignment, or numbed themselves to truth, the shift may feel like a violent shaking, a spiritual earthquake that cracks the ground beneath their feet. But for you, chosen one, this same shaking will be an activation, a moment of profound acceleration. Revelation chapter 3 verse 10 promises, "Because you have kept my word about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world." Imagine trying to swim against the pull of the ocean during a storm. Your muscles aching, your vision blurred, your lungs straining for breath. That is what the unprepared will feel as the divine current sweeps through the earth. Not because God is punishing them, but because they refuse to learn how to float in His presence. This moment is not about being better. It's about being ready, and readiness, chosen one, is something you have been cultivating in secret. Think of Frida Kahlo, whose physical suffering never drowned her creativity. Instead, her pain gave birth to a body of work that echoed through time. She didn't fight the storm. she painted through it, and her legacy is eternal. What if your current struggle is meant to become someone else's survival guide? As the reset unfolds, those not anchored in God will feel lost in the swirl of uncertainty. They will question everything: systems, relationships, even their identity. Their foundation will crumble because it was built on sand. But for you, the shift will feel like a divine wind pushing you forward, not backward. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 25 states, "When the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever." Chosen one. Have you noticed lately that you see the world differently than most people around you? That even in chaos, there's a deep calm within you. That's not ego. That's evidence. Evidence that you've been spiritually wired for this exact moment in history. For those left spiritually asleep, the confusion will be painful, but that pain can be productive if it leads them back to God. This is not the end for them. It's an invitation. The divine reset is not about punishment. It's about purification. Even those who stumble can still rise if they surrender. Joel chapter 2 verse 13 urges, "Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love." Look at Saul of Tarsus, a persecutor of the early church, feared and hated by many, yet God met him in a blinding light and transformed him into the Apostle Paul, a giant of the faith. One encounter flipped his entire life. So let me ask you, what if the ones who seem furthest from the truth today are just one encounter away from becoming the next great leaders of light? Even now, God is extending mercy. Even now, the lost can return. The key is recognition. The moment they recognize the shift and surrender instead of resisting, they will begin to awaken. But as the fog lifts, the chosen ones will do more than survive. They will flourish. This is a time of rising, a time where your alignment becomes your advantage. While others are grappling for answers, your clarity will cut through the noise. Your purpose will become sharp. Your confidence will feel unshakable. And your presence, yes, your very presence, will be a lighthouse for those trying to find their way through the storm. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 1 commands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Think of Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned for 27 years. The world thought his influence had ended, but instead, he was being refined in isolation. When he emerged, he became not only a leader, but a symbol of unity and resilience. You too have been through seasons of silent refinement, and now your release is at hand, your voice is rising. Let me ask you, have you underestimated the power God has placed inside you? Have you mistaken your wilderness for weakness because what looked like delay was actually divine development? And now you're ready to walk in the fullness of who you were called to be. This reset is not about worldly accolades. It's about spiritual authority. This is about stepping into the role heaven has reserved for you. You don't need everyone to understand. You just need to be obedient to the assignment. Chosen one. Your spiritual success will be measured not by applause, but by alignment. not by recognition but by radiance, the glow of divine purpose that begins to shine from within you. Consider Corrie ten Boom, who helped hide Jews during the Holocaust and was imprisoned for her faith. She lost her sister in the camps but never lost her faith. After the war, she preached forgiveness and healing all over the world. She was not just a survivor, she was a sign. So are you. You're not just going through this, you're becoming a signal of hope to others. So Bao, what does this all mean for you? It means you are being called to embrace your divine authority, to trust that you've been prepared not just to endure the shift, but to lead through it. While others lose their grip, you will be the one still standing, still praising, still guiding. This is your time to shine, not for pride, but for purpose. You will shine with compassion, wisdom, grace, and clarity. And as you rise, others will follow your light, not your words, but your walk. You are God's chosen one, and this divine reset is your platform to become the catalyst of transformation this world desperately needs. Chosen one in this hour. Protecting your spirit is not optional, it's essential. As the divine reset begins to ripple across the world, it is not just the environment that will change. The transformation will begin within, deep in your soul, in your thoughts, in your inner posture toward God. And that internal shift will require a level of spiritual strength and resilience you cannot afford to neglect. Are you guarding your most valuable asset, your spirit, with the care it deserves? This isn't the time to be casual about your spiritual life. It's the time to be vigilant, intentional about what you feed your mind, what you allow to influence your heart, and who you permit to walk closely with you. Distractions are disguised as entertainment, negativity poses as news, and spiritual fatigue can creep in masked as numagin, as normal life. But chosen one, you were never created for normal. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 16 instructs, above all, take the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Look at Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German pastor who opposed the Nazi regime. His spiritual clarity cost him his life, but not his soul. Even in prison, he wrote, preached, and prayed. He protected his spirit even as his body was confined. What excuse do we have for spiritual complacency when freedom surrounds us? Your connection to God is the lifeline that will sustain you through this reset. Every prayer strengthens your armor. Every moment of quiet reflection sharpens your discernment. Every act of obedience reinforces your spiritual core. Can you feel the urgency? The signs are everywhere, but those unprepared will call them coincidence. You know better. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 urges, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This isn't just about avoiding darkness. It's about opening to the light. The divine cleansing is coming, and it will wash away everything false old wounds, limiting beliefs, habitual sins. It will strip away what no longer serves God's purpose in you. But this isn't punishment. It's preparation. Will you see this season as suffering or sanctification? Think of Helen Keller, who, despite being blind and deaf, became a symbol of hope and intellect. She didn't let what she lacked define her purpose. With the help of her teacher, Anne Sullivan, she stepped into a life of depth and influence. Likewise, your past limitations are no match for the spiritual gifts God is awakening in you now. Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 26 promises, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you." Chosen one, as you protect your spirit, you are creating space for elevation. The more you align with God, the more He entrusts you with power, spiritual authority, prophetic insight, and peace that transcends human logic. You're not just being cleansed, you're being called. This reset is God's holy reset. First in you, then through you. And yes, this reset is divine intervention. The world has drifted far from its spiritual axis. Materialism has overtaken meaning. Fear has replaced faith. Confusion now clouds truth. God sees it all, and in His mercy, He is acting. Do you understand the mercy behind the shaking? The divine reset is not wrath, it's realignment. Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14 declares, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and will heal their land." Consider Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, a soft-spoken TV host who used his platform not for fame but for healing. In an age of rising violence and division, he spoke about kindness, identity, and spiritual worth. Through simplicity, he ignited transformation. You don't need to be loud to lead. You just need to be aligned. You must now ask yourself, what needs to be cleansed from my life? What clutter is clouding my ability to hear God's voice? What relationships, habits, or thought patterns are keeping me spiritually numb? This reset is not merely a world event. It is a personal invitation. One that says, come closer, go deeper, let go, rise higher. Yes, the world will feel the tremors, but you will feel the call. You will sense the moment when the spiritual wind shifts. And in that moment, your clarity will return, your strength will be renewed, your gifts will begin to activate at full capacity. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31 proclaims, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, like Sojourner Truth, who rose from slavery to become a preacher, activist, and voice of liberation. You too are being raised up." Her name wasn't symbolic, it was prophetic. She told the truth and carried it like a flame into darkness. That's your calling now, to be a bearer of truth in a time of chaos. So, chosen one, this is not just an alert, it is your personal commissioning. You are not just witnessing the reset, you are part of the reason for it. You are not just being cleansed, you are being crowned. You are not just holding on, you are rising into everything you were made to be. The reset is here. Your spirit must be protected, your purpose must be pursued, and your alignment must be intentional. Chosen one, what you're sensing in your spirit is real. A wave unlike any other is rising across the earth. not made of water, but of divine power. It's a spiritual surge that will challenge, cleanse, and shift the very fabric of reality. And this wave isn't simply coming for the world. It's coming for you. It is here to test everything you believe, everything you've practiced, and everything you've been called to become. Have you been feeling it lately? The pressure mounting, the quiet urgency in your soul, the unshakable sense that change is already underway. That is not anxiety. That is not coincidence. That is the Spirit of God preparing you for the ultimate spiritual test. One that will not just reveal who you are, but refine who you are becoming. Isaiah chapter 48 verse 10 declares, "I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." This wave isn't just a moment, it's a mirror. It will show you the depth of your faith, the strength of your roots, and the clarity of your alignment with God's purpose. Some will stand in the storm and rise. Others will be swept away by the current of confusion, doubt, and distraction. And that difference won't be random. It will be determined by how spiritually prepared you are right now. So, are you ready to ride this divine wave, or will you be overtaken by it? Are you rooted enough in truth to thrive when everything around you begins to shake? Look at Martin Luther, who sparked the Protestant Reformation. He didn't just wake up one morning with clarity. His courage to stand against centuries of religious corruption came from years of prayer, study, and spiritual wrestling. He was prepared. He saw the signs. And when the wave came, he didn't flinch. He led, chosen one. The reset is not merely an event on the horizon. It is unfolding now in real time. You're not preparing for the future. You're standing in it. To be ready means more than just knowing scripture or saying prayers. It means embodying your faith in such a way that even when the world around you is in chaos, your spirit remains calm, anchored, and immovable. It's about having a clear mind, a fortified heart, and a sensitive spirit. When others are panicking, you will be listening. When others are guessing, you will be hearing. Because the chosen ones don't move with fear, they move with faith. Psalm chapter 27 verse 1 proclaims, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Consider Corey." Ten Boom, a woman who faced unspeakable horrors in a Nazi concentration camp. She lost her family, her comfort, her freedom, but she never lost her faith, her secret. She was spiritually ready long before the testing began. Her spirit had been trained in prayer, refined in forgiveness, and anchored in God. When the wave came for her, it didn't drown her. It revealed her. That's what this divine wave will do. It will not just test your faith. It will expose its quality. It will separate the surface level from the surrendered, the religious from the righteous, the comfortable from the consecrated. So what will it look like to be spiritually prepared? It looks like waking each day with intention, starting in prayer before you open your phone, declaring truth even when you don't feel it, saying no to what pulls you away from your assignment, saying yes to quiet time with God even when the world is loud. It means training your inner ear to hear His voice in the smallest signs and greatest storms. Daniel chapter 11 verse 32 declares, "But the people who know their God shall be strong and do exploits." Think of Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years. The world thought his power was fading, but in secret, he was preparing, reading, meditating, listening, forgiving. So when freedom came, he didn't just walk out, he led a nation. He didn't crumble under the weight of the wave. He became the tide that changed history. So what are you doing in your waiting season? Are you building your spirit or numbing your soul? Are you preparing for the wave or pretending it isn't coming? Make no mistake, the divine reset is already underway. And while it will test you, it is also your greatest opportunity for growth. The wave is not here to destroy. It is here to elevate. It's not meant to crush your purpose. It's here to activate it. Hebrews chapter 10 verses 35 to 36 encourage, "So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded." You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised. During this time, you will begin to see signs, divine signals that God is moving. They won't always be dramatic. Sometimes they'll show up in the smallest details, a peaceful moment in the middle of noise, a phrase that jumps out from a book, a friend who says the exact thing your spirit needed, a dream that lingers, an unexpected door opening just when you considered giving up. These are not coincidences. They are heaven's breadcrumbs leading you through the wilderness. Look at Rosa Parks, who changed history by sitting down. That one act was the fruit of 100 spiritual decisions. Decisions to stay faithful, stay ready, stay listening. When the moment came, she didn't question. It was already in her. Her spirit had been waiting for the wave, and she met it with courage. So, how do you tune into these divine signals? You slow down. You listen more than you speak. You protect your peace. You create margin for God to speak. You remove distractions, some of which may be disguised as entertainment, relationships, or even obligations. You live with spiritual intentionality, not spiritual autopilot. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 21 assures, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, 'This is the way, walk in it, chosen one.'" The divine reset is not passive, it's participatory. It demands that you act, that you lean into the shift, not hide from it, that you choose faith when fear is the easier option, that you move when God says move, even if the ground looks unstable. You're not being tested because you're weak. You are being tested because you're ready, ready to go deeper, ready to be promoted, ready to become who you've always been in God's eyes. The wave is coming, and you're either going to rise with it or retreat beneath it. But here's the beautiful promise: God is not leaving you to face this alone. He is giving you signs. He is stirring your spirit. He is equipping you with wisdom, discernment, and favor, not just to survive, but to thrive. This wave will awaken your gifts. It will purge your pride. It will stretch your faith. It will clarify your calling. And when it has passed, you will not be the same. You will be stronger, sharper, brighter, closer, bolder, because what God is doing in you now is not temporary, it is eternal. This is your moment, this is your test, and you were born for it. So rise, chosen one, strengthen your faith, protect your spirit, discern the signs, and prepare to ride the divine wave that will transform everything you know, starting with you, chosen one. Now that you've received this message, it's no longer just a word, it's a spiritual transaction. You've just been equipped with divine clarity, and that clarity now carries weight. It marks a new chapter in your life, one of awakening, alignment, and action. The wave is not coming, it's already here. And because of that, your moment to step fully into who you are has arrived. Everything you've endured, every silent night of questioning, every setback that felt like defeat, every strange season that made no sense was preparation. And now, with each shift in the spiritual atmosphere, you're starting to see why. The pain had a purpose. The delay had a design. The quiet had a call embedded within it. And this message was a divine confirmation that you were right to believe all along, right to hold on when it would have been easier to walk away, right to trust when there was no evidence, right to stay pure when compromise was applauded. God saw it, heaven recorded it, and now the reward is unfolding, not just externally, but within you. This message wasn't for entertainment, it was for empowerment. It wasn't just to inform you, it was to awaken what has been dormant. And if your spirit stirred while listening or reading, if something inside you started to rise up, then you already know you are not who you used to be. You're stronger now, sharper, more spiritually alert. You're no longer asleep to the calling on your life. You are ready, not perfect, but ready. And that readiness is all God needed to move. Let me take a moment now to speak directly to your heart and say, thank you. Thank you for being part of this sacred moment. Thank you for your time, your openness, and your willingness to listen not just to my voice, but to the Holy Spirit behind these words. Whether this is your first encounter with this channel, or you've been walking this journey alongside us for a while, your presence here is not taken lightly. You are part of a remnant, a spiritual family of those who hear God's call and actually respond. And that obedience, that hunger, that faith, it matters more than you may ever realize. If this message has spoken to your soul, if you felt confirmation or clarity, and you wish to support the continuation of these prophetic teachings, you can do so through super thanks right below this video. Your support helps us keep producing powerful, spirit-led messages that reach others around the world who are desperate for truth in a time of noise. But hear me clearly, whether you give or not, you are deeply valued. Your presence alone is a blessing. Your attention, your engagement, and your faith already mean the world to us. Giving is never required. It's simply an invitation for those who feel led to sow into what God is doing through this platform. And now, chosen one, I leave you with this blessing, not just as a farewell, but as a spiritual seal over your life in this season of reset. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard your heart and mind as you walk into the unknown. May your discernment grow sharper. your spiritual ears more attuned, and your heart more deeply aligned with the frequency of heaven. May every lie that tried to define you be broken, and may the truth of who God says you are rise up and take its rightful place in your soul. May every distraction lose its grip on your focus. May every delay transform into divine timing, and may every wound be turned into wisdom that guides you forward in purpose. You were not created for chaos. You were born for clarity. You are not a product of confusion. You are a vessel of conviction. You are not here to blend in. You are here to rise up and lead. God has chosen you for such a time as this. And as the divine reset unfolds across the earth, your light will not grow dim. It will shine brighter, not because of your own strength, but because the fire within you was placed there by God Himself, and that fire cannot be extinguished. May favor chase you. May wisdom protect you. May doors open that no man can shut. And may you walk boldly in the calling that heaven has declared over your life since the beginning of time. You are chosen. You are covered. You are unstoppable. Now go forward with power. Stay grounded in prayer. Stay focused on purpose. And remember, no matter what comes, you are not alone. The same God who called you is the one who will carry you through. Until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and never forget you were born for this moment. As the truth of your divine connection settles in your spirit, anchoring you to the sacred purpose revealed in the message you've just received, let your heart open to an even deeper revelation, the stirrings you felt, those moments when a person, a memory, or a whisper refused to let you go are not mere echoes of emotion. They are signposts of a greater calling, a divine orchestration preparing you for what lies ahead. You've been awakened to the reality that God has handpicked souls to walk with you, aligning your path with a mission that transcends time. Now, as we move forward, the veil lifts further to reveal not just your purpose, but your identity. You are not only chosen for a divine assignment, you are a lost child of a royal spiritual lineage, hidden for a season, but now rising to reclaim your eternal inheritance. This is not a new story. It's the continuation of the one heaven has been writing through you all along, calling you to step boldly into the legacy that has always been yours. Chosen one, you didn't find this message by chance. This moment, right here, right now, was written into the fabric of time, the universe, the divine, and your own higher self aligned perfectly to lead you here. Why? Because something sacred is stirring inside you. A truth that's been quietly burning beneath the surface of your life is about to come into full flame. For years, you've carried this unshakable feeling that you're different, that you don't quite belong, like you've been walking through this world with a veil over your eyes, sensing something more, something greater, just out of reach. You've always known it, even when no one else could see it, even when the world tried to convince you that you were just imagining it. But let me tell you plainly, you are not lost. You were hidden, and now, the time of revealing has come. You are not just another soul wandering through life. You are the lost child of a royal lineage, not of earthly royalty, but of a spiritual bloodline, divine, eternal, marked by God. You are part of a chosen generation, handpicked before you were born. It's why the world never quite made sense to you. It's why shallow pursuits never satisfied your hunger. It's why you've seen through lies others believed. It's why your heart breaks deeper. Your intuition cuts sharper. Your soul dreams louder. You've endured trials that should have crushed you. You've been shaped in silence, refined in fire, hidden in plain sight. But now, the veil is lifting. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 states, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Everything you faced has been preparing you for this. The pain, the loneliness, the questions. They were never punishments. They were divine tools of transformation. They were clues, initiations, whispers from heaven that you were never ordinary. And now, heaven is shouting. You're waking up to your true identity, and the heavens are rejoicing. The blood of the chosen ones flows through you, and it's time for it to rise. The chains that kept you asleep are breaking. The lies that kept you small are crumbling, and the call you felt in your spirit, it's real, it's holy, and it's for you. The kingdom is calling its heir back home. You are the fulfillment of a prophecy in motion. Now, as you step forward into this divine role, I invite you to declare your readiness. Type Amen in the comments below if your soul is saying yes, if your spirit is awakening, if you're ready to reclaim what's always been yours. This is more than a message. This is a summons. And don't go anywhere. Stay with me until the end, because we're going to close with a powerful prayer that will seal this truth into your life. A prayer that marks the beginning of your return home. Welcome, Royal One. Your awakening has begun. The reason you've always felt like an outsider in this world is because you were never meant to blend in. You were never created to conform to the systems around you. From the beginning, something in you refused to shrink, to settle, to forget. That quiet rebellion in your spirit wasn't confusion. It was clarity. It was your soul remembering. Society tried to convince you that you were ordinary, that you were just one of many, but that was a lie crafted to keep you small. The truth is, you carry the blood of a royal priesthood, not a monarchy of crowns and thrones, but one of spiritual power and eternal purpose. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 confirms, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. You were called out of darkness, not just to survive it, but to transform it. Your sense of not belonging, that hunger for something more, it's not a flaw, it's a signal, a divine alarm clock ringing inside your DNA, waking you from the trance this world puts everyone else in. That deep pull toward the unseen, the sacred, the real. It's your spiritual inheritance stirring in your blood. You're a descendant of the ancient ones, those who walked not by sight but by divine vision, the ones who were entrusted with hidden wisdom, born to carry the torch of truth through generations of darkness. But this lineage was scattered, silenced, buried under systems that feared its power. And you, chosen one, were hidden among the ordinary for a reason. You were placed in environments that rejected you, in families that could not recognize your light. You were thrown into systems that tried to shape you into something you're not to destroy you, but to refine you. The pressure, the loneliness, the betrayals, they were not punishments. They were preparation. Real power is never handed to the untested. Real wisdom doesn't come without fire, like Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into a pit before he ever reached the palace, like Moses, cast out into the wilderness before he could lead his people home, like Esther, hidden in the palace before her moment came to speak up for her people. The divine fire within you could never be extinguished. That's why, no matter how hard the world has tried to bury your light, it keeps breaking through. You've always gotten back up. You've always carried an unexplainable strength. That's not luck, it's legacy. And maybe you've wondered why broken people seem drawn to you, why strangers open up to you, why those in pain feel safe in your presence. It's because they sense your light, even if they can't name it. They feel the spiritual authority you carry, passed down not through words, but through the very code of your soul. The darkness in this world sees it, too. That's why it's fought you so hard. Not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous to it. Your awakening is their undoing. But you were never meant to live in fear. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17 assures, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, because those who walk in divine purpose do not walk alone." Your life has been a training ground for something far greater than personal survival. You were chosen to rise, not just for yourself, but for others, for the generations after you, for the healing of what has been lost. You are part of a royal lineage sent to remember and to remind others. The story of the lost child isn't just myth, it's prophecy, it's legacy, and now it's you. You were separated from your inheritance, scattered like seed into foreign soil. But just like a seed, you were never buried, you were planted, and now you are rising, chosen one. The moment has arrived. You felt it building, subtle signs, repeated numbers, uncanny alignments. That strange shift inside your spirit that no one else seems to notice. You've been drawn to truths you were never taught, to wisdom that lives deep in your bones. These aren't coincidences, they are confirmations. The prophecy is moving through you, and your soul is responding. This is your awakening. But as your light begins to rise, not everyone around you will understand. Some will question your transformation. Others will try to pull you back into the version of yourself that played small, who stayed silent, asleep, and unseen. This part of the journey is the most painful, leaving behind what no longer aligns. But you cannot carry old identities into a new destiny. As Jesus said, Mark chapter 2 verse 22 mentions, "No one pours new wine into old wineskins." To step into the divine, something must be released. Every hardship, every closed door, Every moment you felt abandoned, it was all preparation. Your spiritual ancestors, your guides, even the hand of God Himself have been leading you through the shadows for this exact moment. When you thought you were lost, you were being redirected. When you felt forgotten, you were being refined. Now that you are awakening, the illusions of this world will begin to fall away. You will see with clarity. You will feel a rising power within you that you can no longer suppress. The frequency of your life will shift, drawing in new people, new paths, new purpose. You are stepping into your inheritance, not of gold or fame, but of spiritual authority. And yes, this road will not be easy. When a chosen one awakens, the world resists. Distractions will multiply. The emptiness you once tolerated will call you back. But this is the test: to stand firm, to walk with sacred confidence. Just as Elijah stood alone against the false prophets, and as Jeremiah was mocked for speaking divine truth, you too may face opposition. But their isolation wasn't a sign of failure. It was proof of calling. This brings us to the deeper trial, the test of separation. You've lived with the ache of being different from your family, your peers, your surroundings. Even as a child, you sensed things others could not. You questioned what they accepted. You felt what they ignored. And for that, you were often alone. But understand this: your solitude was not a sentence. It was a sacred assignment. The wilderness is where prophets are born. Moses wasn't called in the palace. He was called from the desert. Jesus didn't begin his ministry in the crowd, but in the silence of the wilderness. Your isolation has forged your insight. It has stripped away distractions so that you could hear your soul and, in it, the whisper of the divine. You were not made to blend in. You were set apart. As you've awakened, you may have noticed your world quietly shifting. People once close to your heart have drifted away. Relationships that felt unbreakable have fractured. Betrayal came from those you least expected, and the silence they left behind, the unanswered questions, the grief cut deeper than words can express. But this too was part of the design. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you. Some were placed in your life for a season, to reveal something vital, to expose patterns, reflect your growth, or ignite a fire you didn't know you had. Their exit was not your failure. It was divine alignment. Amos chapter 3 verse 3 questions. Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? The truth is, as your spirit rises, your circle narrows. Elevation demands separation. The pain of release was not to punish you. It was to protect your purpose. You may have clung to certain people, wondering why your loyalty was met with silence, why your love was answered with distance. But heaven was clearing the way. The higher your calling, the fewer can walk with you. Your soul has always known this. That quiet ache of being different, even in rooms full of people, was never imagined. It was spiritual evidence. You've been set apart, not abandoned. Yes, the world has misread you. They've called you intense, strange, too much, too sensitive because your truth unsettles the illusions they live in. Your presence disrupts the status quo, and that's exactly what it's meant to do. Even Christ said. John chapter 15 verse 18 confirms, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Rejection is not a detour from your calling. It's often the confirmation of it. But as the dust of separation settles, something greater is emerging. The solitude you've endured has carved out space for your true tribe to find you. Souls who speak your language, who see your light not as a threat, but as a mirror. Those who will walk with you, not out of convenience, but from divine resonance. And now, chosen one, it's time to recognize the signs that have followed you all your life. Markers of a hidden royalty scattered like clues in your journey. From your earliest memories, you felt like an outsider. You tried to fit in, to belong, but something always felt off. While others accepted the world as it was, you questioned it. You searched for truth where others found comfort. That restlessness in your spirit wasn't rebellion. It was remembrance. You were never meant to sleep through life. You were born awake in a world that teaches forgetfulness. You've always carried a sensitivity beyond logic. You feel the unspoken. You sense energies others cannot see. Your intuition warns you before words are spoken. These are not coincidences. They are signatures of a soul connected to higher realms, a spiritual inheritance passed down through generations of the unseen. And though your life has been marked by trials, betrayals, losses, challenges others haven't had to face, each hardship was refining you. Like a diamond formed under pressure, your soul has been forged in fire. You weren't meant to be shaped by ease. Royalty is born in adversity. Psalm chapter 34, verse 18 affirms, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your survival, despite everything, is proof of the divine protection that surrounds you. You've always known there's something more. You felt the presence of the unseen. You've heard the whisper of God in your spirit. You've seen the signs, the synchronicities, the timely messages, the way everything somehow aligns when you least expect it. That's not luck, that's purpose. And your purpose isn't small. You've been a magnet for the broken. Strangers open up to you. Wounded hearts seek you out. You're a natural healer, an anchor in a storm for those who don't know why they're drawn to you. But you do. It's the light, the ancient spark in you, the imprint of the royal bloodline you carry. You may not fully understand your gifts. You may see things others can't, dream things that later come true, feel a pull toward the unseen that you can't explain. This is not madness. This is memory. Your soul remembering its divine assignment. And now you are awakening, not into something new, but into what you've always been, royal, not by the measures of this world, but by decree of the unseen. You are part of a sacred lineage, connected to something eternal. Romans chapter 8 verses 16 to 17 declares, "The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Now if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, Your journey, marked by trials and setbacks, has not been random. Every struggle carved out space for your spirit to rise. The breaking was the birthing, the wandering was part of the way, and now the illusions that once held you are crumbling. The distractions that once numbed you no longer work. You've tasted the emptiness of what this world offers, and you want more, not more things, but more meaning. That hunger is a sign you're waking up. As the old self dissolves, your inner world begins to transform. Your intuition sharpens. You sense deception in what others celebrate. You feel emotions more deeply. You dream in symbols. You begin to notice divine patterns, repeating numbers, perfect timing, signs in the smallest details. The world hasn't changed, but you have. You've moved from survival to awareness. And as your frequency rises, so does the resistance. You may feel disconnected from old friends, misaligned with old conversations, restless in places that once felt like home. This is the cost of consciousness. Not everyone can follow where you're headed, and that's okay. Even Christ had to leave his hometown to fulfill his mission. Mark chapter 6 verse 4 states, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home." Emotional waves may come, grief, confusion, loneliness, then sudden peace. You are shedding what was never yours, the beliefs, the masks, the false identities. This is the refinement. This is the inner fire that makes you ready. And in time, your gifts will emerge. You'll see more, know more. You'll feel drawn to uplift others, to lead without trying, to heal simply by being who you are. Because awakening isn't just personal, it's collective. You weren't chosen to wake up just for yourself. You were chosen to help others remember too. But don't mistake this path for ease. Awakening is a dismantling. You'll see the lies, the systems built on illusion, the manipulation that has shaped minds for generations, and it will hurt. But you were chosen because you could bear it, because you would not stay silent. So now, when the old world no longer fits, when the truth becomes too loud to ignore, you reach a turning point, a sacred invitation. This is where the birthright is accepted. And the moment you do, it's not just an awakening, it's an activation. A key turns, a door opens, power rushes in. Not from outside you, but from deep within. The power that was always there, waiting for you to say yes. This is when your inner world becomes your compass. This is when you no longer beg for belonging, you carry it. This is when you no longer follow the path, you become it. The crown has always been yours. Now you finally wear it. From the moment you began to awaken, everything inside you started shifting. The search, the questions, the longing. It was never about what was missing outside of you. It was always the forgotten truth within that you are, and have always been chosen, not by chance, but by divine design. And now, as you step into that truth, the false identities begin to fall away. The hunger for validation fades. The weight of doubt lifts. In its place, a quiet power rises, unshakable, clear, and deeply yours. You stop seeking permission to be who you are and start walking in the authority of who you were created to be. You are not here to blend in. You are here to rise above, to lead, to heal, to illuminate. With this alignment, your energy transforms. What once drained you now fades from your life. What once broke you now strengthens you. The connections, opportunities, and paths that match your frequency begin to reveal themselves effortlessly, divinely timed, and what used to look like chaos in your past begins to make sense. Every setback, every silence, every heartbreak was part of the sacred preparation for this moment. As you come into full remembrance of your divine origin, your connection to the unseen deepens. You begin to know without needing proof. Your intuition sharpens. Your prayers become conversations. Signs and synchronicities appear as confirmation that you are no longer walking alone. You never were. Jeremiah chapter 33 verse 3 declares, "Call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." And then comes the calling. You feel it in your bones, a gentle urgency to create, to teach, to lead, to uplift, because awakening isn't the destination, it's the beginning of your mission. But understand this: with this awakening comes responsibility. Not everyone will understand. Some will try to bring you back into their comfort zones. Some will question your growth. But now you see clearly, these are distractions, not detours. The old voices of shame, fear, and guilt no longer define you. The pain of your past was never your prison. It was your teacher. Now you walk differently. You choose wisely. You move with purpose. Fear no longer holds dominion over you because you are aligned with divine protection. Exodus chapter 14 verse 14 assures, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." This is what happens when you accept your divine birthright. You stop surviving and begin living. You stop doubting and begin knowing. You no longer search outside for what has always lived within. You have come home to your true self, your royal bloodline, your divine destiny. But accepting your identity is only the beginning. Now you must reclaim your inheritance, the spiritual authority, wisdom, strength, and clarity that have been hidden under layers of doubt and conditioning. This is not about earning something. It's about remembering what was always yours. You were never meant to beg for your place. You were meant to claim it. The first step is to declare it. Speak life over yourself. Job chapter 22 verse 28 states, "You will also decree a thing, and it will be established for you." When you name who you are, the spiritual world aligns. Chains break, doors open. Then comes the shedding. Old stories, old pain, false beliefs, they must go. You cannot carry the weight of yesterday into your new reality. Reclaiming your inheritance means rejecting anything that keeps you small. Toxic relationships, inner criticism, fear-based mindsets. You are no longer available for anything that misaligns with your purpose. Elevate your energy. Your inheritance exists at a higher frequency. Protect your spirit. Guard your peace. Choose thoughts, actions, and environments that mirror your divine truth. Make time for stillness. In silence, you will hear the guidance that's been whispering to you all along. Walk as royalty. Before anyone recognizes your crown, stand in your worth before anyone affirms it. You no longer wait to be chosen. You remember that you already were. And as you do, expect miracles. Not because you're lucky, but because you are aligned. Because you're no longer resisting your destiny, but flowing with it. You don't have to become someone else to receive what's yours. You only have to remember who you are. Your divine inheritance isn't something to chase. It's something to reclaim. Now you rise, not because the world has made room for you, but because you've made room for the truth. And now that you walk in it, nothing can stop what's coming next. And now, chosen one, as this message settles into your spirit, remember, awakening is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new way of living. You are not meant to simply carry this truth in your heart. You are meant to embody it in every action, every choice, every breath. Let this be the moment you begin walking differently, rising earlier, praying more intentionally, protecting your peace like sacred ground. Start creating quiet space each day to hear the voice within, to listen for divine instruction before the noise of the world rushes in. Feed your soul with wisdom, not just information. Choose conversations that uplift. Speak words that align with your calling. Make room in your life for beauty, for presence, for purpose. Treat your body like the sacred vessel it is. Rest, nourish, move with awareness. Be mindful of what you allow into your mind and spirit, the music you hear, the stories you follow, the energy you entertain. Walk through your days as if your steps matter, because they do. Serve someone who needs love. Speak truth when it costs you. Say no when your spirit feels heavy. Carry yourself like someone who knows they've been found. You're not waiting for life to begin. It already has. This is your time to walk fully in the light of your inheritance, not as someone trying to prove their worth, but as someone who remembers it was never in question. Before we close, I want to seal everything we've spoken with a prayer, not just words, but a spiritual declaration. So wherever you are, pause, breathe, open your heart. Let these words become your own as we speak them together in faith. Heavenly Father, we come before you in awe and gratitude, for you are the one who sees the hidden, calls forth the forgotten, and awakens the royal within the weary. Thank you for the revelation of identity, for calling us not by our wounds, not by our past, but by your purpose. Lord, I lift up the one who is hearing this prayer. You see them fully, every silent tear, every unanswered question, every night they felt alone, and still, you never left. You watched over them when they didn't know how to pray. You whispered truth when the lies grew loud. And now, as they awaken to who they truly are, I ask that you wrap them in your presence like a royal mantle. Break every chain of fear, self-doubt, and shame. Tear down every false identity they've worn. Let the fire of their calling burn away all that no longer serves them. May your Holy Spirit flood their soul with clarity, with courage, with divine remembrance. Today, we declare they are no longer lost. They are returning to the throne you prepared for them before the foundations of the world. Let every step they take from this moment forward be ordered by you. Lead them beside still waters. Restore their soul. Reveal their assignment and give them the strength to walk it out boldly, even when the path is lonely. Surround them with divine connections, people who see their light, honor their calling, and speak life into their journey. Let divine appointments replace every missed opportunity. Let peace reign where chaos once lived. Let joy return where sorrow had taken root. Remind them that they were not called to fit in, but to stand out for your glory. That they are not here to survive, but to thrive in alignment with heaven. That their pain was not wasted. It was the soil that nurtured their purpose. You said in your word, Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 declares, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Let their light shine. Lord, let it break darkness. Let it heal generations. Let it declare the chosen ones have awakened." And now, Father, we thank you. Thank you for their life, for their gifts, for their divine DNA, for the royal bloodline that cannot be erased. Seal this truth in them today. Let this be the moment they never forget, the moment they remembered who they are. In the mighty, matchless, and resurrecting name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. If this prayer spoke to you, if something deep within you stirred, don't keep it silent. Drop a comment below and write, "I am rising." That's your declaration, your agreement with heaven. And if this message reminded you of who you are, I invite you to subscribe because this is just the beginning. There's so much more ahead. Until next time, walk boldly, stand firmly, and never forget you were never lost. You were only being prepared to return